Find the quotient. Before I read this decimal value, I'm going to go ahead and count out my decimal places. Tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So this would read 5,773 10,000ths divided by 2 3/10. The numerator is the dividend, and the denominator is called the divisor. You start by recording the dividend, which is that 0.5773, and then I draw my division symbol. I draw this over this number because the action is happening to the dividend. We're taking this dividend, 0.5773, and we're dividing it by, and then what you're dividing it by goes on the outside. So I'm going to record the 2.3 on the outside. Now look at the divisor. If the divisor, the number on the outside, has a decimal that's visible, then you need to move that decimal to the far right. It does have a decimal visible, so I need to move this decimal one place to the right. If you move the divisor's decimal one place to the right, you have to move the dividend's decimal one place to the right. So I end up with a dividend of 5.773, and then it's being divided by the divisor 23. And then I'll go ahead and draw my division symbol once more. And I need to select this and move it over a little bit so that looks better. Now I can ask myself the question, how many times does 23 go into 5? Well, 23 is greater than 5, so I will write 0 times. I also need to remember to bring that decimal to the top. How many times does 23 go into 57? Well, 23 doubled gives me 46. And I know that if I add, just even adding 20 to that would get me to 66, which would be too much. So I'm going to just record a 2 because 2 23s go into 57. 2 times 23 is 46, so I record 46, and I subtract that from 57. 7 minus 6 is 1, and 5 minus 4 is 1, and then I bring down the 7. You cannot ask the question until you bring a number down. Now I can ask, how many times does 23 go into 117? Well, I'm going to estimate by counting by 20s because 20 is pretty close to 23, and it's easy to count by 20s. So 20, 40, 60, 80, 100, 120. So I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to try 23 times 5. Three times 5 is 15, so I put a 5 here and carry the 1. 2 times 5 is 10, plus 1 is 11. That worked out great. So 5 23s, 5 times 23 is equal to 115. So I subtract that from the 117. 7 minus 5 is 2, 1 minus 1 is 0, and 1 minus 1 is 0. I cannot ask the question until I bring another number down. How many times does 23 go into 23? It goes in once. 123 is equal to 23. 23 minus 23 is 0, so I have a remainder of 0 and there's no number to bring down. So I have found my quotient. So the quotient is 251 thousandths. Now let's think about if that makes sense. So we're going to do some major rounding over here. I'm going to say that the numerator, I'm going to think of it in terms of money, is about 60 cents. And the denominator, I'm going to say, is about 2. And 60 cents divided by 2 would be 30 cents. So that was a major estimation, but that seems like it could be the answer. 25 cents is pretty close to 30 cents. So that seems reasonable for our answer.